Hi everybody and welcome back to my series of beat making in Pro Tools. Beat making or instrument making or making tunes, whatever you want to call it. But it's all using Expand and stock plugins in Pro Tools. This is episode 4 of a series that I'm making in Pro Tools. And today's beat or today's tune that we're going to create sounds like this. And at the end of this video, I'm going to put up some links to the other creations that I've already made in Pro Tools. They're videos on this channel using Expand, using stock plugins to create beats, drums, bass, guitar, piano, everything you need to create a tune. They're all on my YouTube channel and you can check them out after you watch this if you want. So let's start with today's beat. So the first track we're going to create it's actually a mono instrument. Usually I do a stereo, but for a change we're going to try a mono instrument track. Now the first sound is in acoustic pianos and it's called FX Piano. It's number 10. So the next track is just FX Piano duplicated and it's some low keys on the piano, on the keyboard. And as you can see, I've panned it 62 to the left. Now underneath these pianos I have a sound and it's under hard leads. It's called Sabos. It's number 34. It's a cool sound. And as you can see, I've panned it 43 to the left. And as you go along, you don't have to necessarily play these riffs everywhere. You see the way I mute this section and I muted that section. When you get a piece recorded in and quantized, you can just go on a PC, Control D, and you can play around with that. You can mute parts and you could cut that in half and mute it, or you could mute it all. So that's the great thing about MIDI, the way you can do things so quickly and so simply. Now this next sound is under percussion and it's tamb and maracas and chimes menus, number 6. It's very simple, but it adds a bit of flavour to the music. So I think we'll add some drums now and see how that sounds. Now when I put in my snare, I just go into the drums and I pick the snares menu. And while your song is playing, you can sample snares and decide which one you like. You do the same with the kick and the hi-hat. So I've went with that one. And as you can see, I'm checking the volumes as I go along and bringing them up or bringing them down. The hi-hat is down by minus 13 dB. It's panned 57 to the right. Kick is down the center as usual, and the snare is 22 to the left. So as you're going along, layering tracks and trying out different sounds, it's a matter of trying what you like and seeing Do you like the sound, or do you think that it suits the song or the tune? The more you do it, the better you get at it. There's some great sounds in Expand, so it's well worth investigating and playing around with. You'll come up with some good stuff, you know. So for this next track now, I'm just going to duplicate this FX piano. So if I right click it and go duplicate, I don't want to bring down the active playlist or alternative playlist, so I uncheck them and go OK. I'm just going to drag it down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that track, make sure my Smart Tool is highlighted, this frame here. Click the clip and press the letter C, and then semicolon, the letter V. What I'm going to do then is, on a PC, I'm going to hold Shift, Alt and 3, and that just makes it a new clip, because if you don't do that, everything that you do in this clip will be reflected in this clip. It would also be, the changes that you make in this clip will be also made in this one, because it's copied from that one. But that shortcut, or that Shift Alt 3, prevents that. But how you can also prevent it is if you uncheck this guy, mirrored MIDI editing. It won't do it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the letter E, which expands that clip. Or you can do this in the MIDI editor. And I'm just going to get the end of this and drag them over all these clips. To make sure there's no gaps. Press the letter E, takes you out of that again. Now we'll just check this clip to make sure. You see it hasn't done it there, but if we didn't uncheck mirror the MIDI editing, it would do it there. So you have to be careful when you copy clips, because sometimes you can be changing the other clips and you don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Expand and I'm going to click here. I'm on this track here, the duplicated FX piano. I'm going to click ARP. I'm going to click this. So that gives it a cool arpeggio sound, and you can play around with it with these different numbers here. It gives you different sequences. It's a great effect, really changes the tune or the song. So underneath this arpeggio piano I have a pad, a light sounding pad, and it's called Basic Triangle Pad, and it's in soft pads. I think it's time now to put down some bass. I've created a mono instrument for this one, and the sound we have is medium double bass. So underneath the bass I've got this eerie kind of a sound. And it's under soft pads, and it's called Noise Band, and it's number 59. As as you can see, it's just a matter of layering sounds as you go along and trying different stuff and seeing what you come up with. It's all just experimenting with the different sounds. There's so many in there in Expand. Its possibilities are endless. Now this next sound sounds like a wind chime, and it's also in percussion, and it's also under Tam Maracas and Chimes menu. And I'm going to pan that to the left. Now I also have a cymbal reverse here for it's a transition into a different part of the song. It's a cymbal recorded, and then it's recorded from MIDI to audio, and then it's reversed. And I've explained how to do it in one of the previous, I believe it's the previous video to this one, but it's in one of the previous 3 episodes if you want to check that out. Now this breakdown in the song is very industrial sounding, and the sound is in ambience and effects, and it's actually called industrials, and you'll see why in a minute. So as you can see, it's kind of weird, but you know, weird is good. So underneath this industrial sound I have an ethnic sound, and it's called natural sitar. It's a cool sound, and I'm going to just put it in by hand. I'm not actually going to use the metronome. Then we have a synth bass called Dirty Dog. The final sound is under ethnic again. There's some great sounds in ethnic, and it's called Natural Panpipes. It's number 13. So that's this episode over for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Now if you're a complete beginner, I'm going to leave a little card up here with quick tips just using Expand. It goes from the very beginning, and it's for people that are just learning. There's several videos there that you can check out. It's using MIDI and drawing in the MIDI and using velocity and all that kind of good stuff, so you might learn something from them. And then at the end I'm going to put in 2 cards to the playlist of all these reproductions of MIDI tracks in Pro Tools using Expand, if you want to check them out as well. But I'm going to finish now with the track. It's from footage from Toronto in Canada back in 2016, from Botanic Gardens and from Casa Loma House. I'm going to play the track over some footage from that, and Hope you enjoy it, and I would really appreciate if you'd like and subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff and you get something from these videos. And hope to see you soon. See you in the next video. Bye for now.